Hello, everybody. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secret and part 2. So I totally effed up the other one. Man, I want to get something better than StreamYard. Boy, what a shit show using this place. That was not fun. So not easy. So I accidentally came in and hit the wrong thing, and I couldn't correct it. It's weird. So anyway, I was talking about I have a bad feeling about this, so I'm just going to continue. This is like part 2 from the first show, 5x5. Thank you, Justin. All right, so let me present. I have a bad feeling about this. This is from Platoon.
I got a bad feeling on this one, all right? I got a bad feeling. I don't think I'm going to get out of here. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Everybody gotta die sometime, right?
All right. So I'm not like that. Right? When I get a bad feeling about something, then I'm going to make it right. Right. So I'm gonna like be moving, right? Moving from the area where I'm at and going someplace high, right? Up in the mountains or somewhere. So I got a bad feeling about this. And I've talked about that probably not Mount Shasta, no, south of that. So there's going to be definitely some earth changes. Let's hope they don't get as bad. I think consciousness can have an effect on it, but I think we're probably going to get some serious earth changes before consciousness jumps in. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe consciousness will awaken to the point where we don't have some craziness. But I think it's pretty much going to happen at this point. I've done a lot to help mitigate a lot of that, and I'm moving to a place where I think I can help mitigate more of it because I'm kind of led to certain areas sometimes, and I think that's. I've worked with earth energies for a long time. I went to all the different places all around the world on spiritual journeys to help change energies. So I'm aware of different energies. I work with hurricanes and earthquakes and all that kind of stuff to mitigate them, make them less, or make them not even happen at all. So we'll see. Hopefully, the place where I'm going. I think you guys in Florida. I've trained a lot of you guys over the years. You'll help to mitigate the coming storms in Florida. We'll see. I see some pretty devastating ones coming, but that doesn't mean they are going to happen. And just by me saying that, sometimes can bring bad energy in. So I'm trying not to, but I need to warn you at least so that you can help to mitigate them. If you're just like, hanging out, you think everything is good. You haven't heard me say anything about it, and then it hits you upside the head, like Elon got hit by X, or whatever you got hit by in the right eye. So a lot of people are saying the left eye, the eye of Horus. Which one is the eye of Horus? You have to look at that. That's kind of the one. I think there's all kinds of different things, these guys go by. So which eye is the eye of Horus? Eye is Horus eye. Eye. The eye of Horus is typically depicted as the left eye. So when you see them get hit in the left eye, which most of them do, or get the black eye in the left eye, it's Egyptian, represents, Horus. And what is it meaning? Eye of Horus meaning. Let's look at that. The Egyptian eye is one of the most recognizable symbols from ancient Egyptian civilization. That's the one that's on the U.S. dollar, the $1 bill at the top of the pyramid. The eye is depicted in many aspects of Egyptian material culture, particularly in art, jewelry, and sculpture. Since the eye is connected with the gods Horus, god of the sky, and Ra, god of the sun, the purpose of the eye varies depending on its depiction. The eye is often called the Egyptian all-seeing eye. frequently representing wisdom and protection in Egyptian religion and culture. However, when connected with Ra, the eye represented power and destruction. So it was common for Egyptian rulers to also have the eye on their jewelry and artwork, blah, 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 blah. All right, so we see pyramids all over the world, all right? We see lots of Egyptian stuff that's in the Vatican. Why do we have that? What is that? What is that about? That Masonic stuff, the Masons and the Shriners and all that stuff have all that Egyptian iconography, whatever to call it. So I remember my my stepdad and my uncle, again, that stuff. They had the fez and, their hats and rings and the shiny stones and the Muslim sword that they used to like chop up all the people, and they dip their fez into the Christian blood, and it was red. So that's the fez. That's so that they say that the Shriners, when they have the red fez, that's from the slaughter of the Christians, and the Muslims dip their fez into the blood. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know if that's what it's about. Of course, I'm sure they got a different story for it, but there's a lot of that being circulated around out there. So the Egyptian eye of Horus is the left eye, and you see a lot of black eyes in the left eye. And I don't know. I don't know what. I'm not in that club. I can't tell you for sure. All I can do is like look on it from the eye of Ra is the right eye. Okay, thank you, Amy. So you have Horus, the black eye CIA, black male, left eye club, and then if you get the right eye, because Ra was like the ultimate god, it's like of the Egyptians. So I guess if you get the right eye, you don't see many right eye black eyes, but you would think, yeah, Elon, he's like up there, right? So he gets the right black eye, and he doesn't get it pounded like all those other people. They get like hammered with a Jay Leno. Looks like somebody like beat him all over his face and broke his wrist with a bat. So some of these guys are, they play the game because they have to, or they want to, or what? How far does it go? They get the black eye club, and then do you do the adrenochrome stuff after that? Sacrifice. How? Where does this go? I mean, I'm not in that club. I don't know, but we know that stuff is going on. So it's very crazy to see that stuff. And if we look at the Vatican, let's look at Vatican City Square. St. Peter Square. So you're going to see, Egyptian stuff. They have Egyptian stuff everywhere, in their courtyards everywhere. It is, Egyptian stuff. You think that, Christianity does have nothing to do with the Egyptian stuff. Why would it? Of course it does. I mean, it's all connected. It's all. Jay Leno looked like he got beat like a redheaded stepchild. That's right, Truth or Mike. And it's pretty funny to see all that, and see all these people, go through that. Harry Reid, he was in Congress, and I guess he got out of line, Nevada. What was he? Was he senator or congressman? Whatever he was, he said that a band, he was working out, and a band snapped him in the eye, and it looked like it snapped him in the eye, and then he got another band and started working out, and it snapped him again, and he got another band and snapped him in the whatever. These guys and then he tried to sue this one company because that's what they do. Sometimes they get away with it, and they get paralyzed, like the governor of Texas. And a tree fell on while he was running, jogging. It's like, okay, yeah, you got out of line, didn't you? Yeah, and they want you to do something, so they paralyzed you, or they broke you. They broke you. So I think that's what happens to a lot of these guys. And when you see some of them get all beat up like that, I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. And they go through initiation, and of course, it's like so many of them. So many have gone through that. So Elon, I've never seen Trump with a black eye. Trump black eye. Let's see. Trump black eye. Look. Trump black eye. What did Trump say about Elon Musk's black eye? Wall Street Journal. So Musk said at the time he got the bruise from horsing around with one of his sons. Trump said Thursday that he had offered makeup to Elon Musk to black eye. I said, do you want a little makeup? Because we know Trump's very good at that. He's always tan. His hair is always perfect. He has a perfect cough. And I said, do you want a little makeup? We'll get you a little makeup, Trump said while speaking to the press with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. But he said, no, I don't think so, which is very interesting and very nice. He wants to be who he is. So Trump is almost like he's diming him out. He like asked him, he's like, and X gave you that? Like that is, and he's like, oh, yeah, X. And I was like, oh, no, X didn't do that. You were kind of caught off guard by that, weren't you? And you knew you were going to have to lie. Okay. So, you look at that and you're like, oh, what are they doing? Those. So we know these guys like to, create their, like the Washington Monument. They have to create these little Egyptian-looking things. They have these things all over the world, of course. They've been in every major city throughout time. They're in Constantinople. They're in Rome. Still in Rome, obviously, in the Vatican Square. All over Egypt. They're pretty impressive in Egypt. And I don't know. Why do they have to have these things around? It's Egyptian. Why do they have to have the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill? Why do they have to go through the Black Eye Club? Why do the Shriners wear their fez? Why do they have all that Egyptian stuff all over everything? So it's to me, it's like a reveal. It's a reveal. That's the deep state. And of course, some Shriners, some Masons aren't going to like that. But and it used to be a time where if I even talked about that here on this channel, I would either lose a channel or lose a show, whatever. So I guess I can talk about it now. Reveal stuff. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe something bad is going to happen to me because I talk about it. Maybe they'll teach me, right? And I'll be an example to everybody. It's like, oh yeah, Mike, he hung himself. Like he was so distraught. I don't think so. But if I commit suicide, I'm happy. I never did that, right? So everybody has to say that these days. Deep state is done. But are some of these people that are like disappearing and they seem to do, they go bye-bye. Are they going away because they're going into protective, some kind of protective service somewhere in a house somewhere where the deep state can't get them? Like, I don't know. But it is interesting. And Elon talking about all his stuff with Jeffrey Epstein. He's revealing that, and Virginia Giuffre. She dies. Some people are saying their husband killed her. Some people are saying that she just committed suicide. Some people are saying that she's in witness protection. Who knows? Who knows? But it seems very interesting that she's gone now, and then Elon starts talking about, because she could come out and say, yeah, that's all bullshit, or that's true, or whatever, but she can't now. So it's you got to look at the bigger picture. You got to look at all these different things. Now, this thing about have a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling about these earth changes. Will they happen? Well, it's not will they happen. They are happening.
Also occurred in this time frame. So originally, when I was preparing for this video, I thought it was just these 3 locations. Turns out.
All right. So this oarfish thing is usually when the oarfish, it's like a sign of some kind of catalysm coming. When the oarfish, so they're deep, very deep fish, and when they come up to the surface and wash up, not always, of course, they could die naturally, but when you see a bunch of them coming up, that's usually something is going on in the depths. Something is going on.
For doomsday fish wash up deep sea denizens that you very rarely see that have a known folklore associated with them, connecting them to cataclysmic events like high magnitude earthquakes and tsunamis. And then we have these 2 prophetic visions that have been given, one from a Japanese person, another from someone from Thailand, both for July 2025, for there being some sort of underwater cataclysm kind of in the zone. So let's get into that. Let's start with our doomsday fish, and this is an interesting story. So we got a lot to go through today. Hello, welcome everyone. Again, I'm your host, Stefan Burns. On this channel, we discuss what's happening with the Earth energetically. We look at geologic events, geophysical energies, also the ocean. So we have this shift that's occurring. We'll talk about the astrology more, but as this is unfolding, we're seeing a lot of changes with our oceans and a lot of new volcanism. Mount Etna just blasted off a pyroclastic flow. Fuego in Guatemala had a huge eruption and also a pyroclastic flow. Let's check out, as we're talking about Aries, let's check this out. This is really quite wild. We have actually been seeing the sign of Aries in our reality very prominently over the past about month or so. So if we look at our sun there, we have this massive plasma filament launch. This was May 12th and of this year, of course. And look at the plasma filaments make the sign of Aries. Let me pause this right when it hits that alignment, right about there. So we see the sign of Aries basically with this massive structure on the sun. Many, many, many times larger than the Earth, of course, because this is the sun. And this is the actual the sign of Aries right there. Then also, just within the past couple days, we've had this lava fountain at Kilauea volcano, which is, of course, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, fed by the deep Earth. And this is episode 24. And this was making the sign of Aries. So just an interesting thing. Don't put too much into this, but sometimes I've found in my own personal life experience that the universe really directly shows you what's happening and the energies that are unfolding, and it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. So I look at this, and I'm like, okay, it looks like we have some really strong Aries energy. And you consider the fact that Neptune just shifted into Aries first time in 164 years. This is 164 years. And now Saturn is there. And that they are going to make a conjunction in Aries at 0 degrees, which is something that historically hasn't happened really since negative or 600 BCE. So, 2,600 years ago, that wasn't at 0 degrees. That was at an early degree, 2, 3, or something like that. This is at 0 degrees. Basically initiating a whole new cycle, a massive new cycle. This is kind of showing hey, this is some big stuff coming in. Explosive solar activity. This gave us a pretty big solar storm impact, and explosive volcanic activity, which is very resonant with Aries. The sun is exalted in the sign of Aries, and Aries is all about new birth, creation, right? The entire mythology of the Hawaiian Islands is that of creation, fire, and Hawaii, came up out of the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So it's all very, very, very resonant, which I find interesting. And so let's go more into the astrology while we're here. Then we'll go into the prophetic stuff, because this is laying out the overall archetypal framework that's in the background through 2026 and even a little bit into 2032 we'll talk about as well, which is very resonant with what these prophets, you could say, saw. Now, whether they're going to be accurate or not, I don't know. But they've each been accurate on a really significant geologic event. The lady from Thailand, she was accurate and hit on the dot the magnitude 7.7 earthquake that just hit Myanmar and Burma, March 28, 2025. And the prophet from Japan, she had a whole bunch of dreams in like the 60s and beyond. She was smack on with the magnitude 9.1 earthquake in Japan, March 11th, 2011. So to get the big events right is like makes me look at things a little bit more closely. They've had some misses, okay? They've had some like political misses in terms of like we think this person's going to be out or whatever. They're wrong with that. There's a couple other dates that weren't satisfied, but they hit the big ones, which is like, okay, there's there may be something to this. So here we have the Western Tropical Astrology chart for July 5th at 3:20 a.m. for Tokyo, Japan. And I said that for this time because the Japanese prophet, she identified July 5th, and even I read something about 2 a.m. being the time. Well, at 3:20 a.m. we actually have our midheaven here in Pisces on Gong Gong, which is a dwarf planet named after the Chinese serpent god of tsunamis and earthquakes. And it's in Pisces right now for like 100 years. We have the North Node here as well. So this seems to be like a kind of a key time. Midheaven being you're at the center of the world, the world stage, all eyes are on you effectively, right? This is like in the light of the sun, whereas the IC, which is opposite, is like hidden underneath the surface. We see a grand water trine on this date, right? So we have Jupiter just having moved into Cancer. That's water, right? We have the sun in Cancer, just having finished doing a Jupiter-Sun conjunction. We have in Scorpio, the moon, just having moved in. We also have Black Moon Lilith, and then, of course, we have what I just outlined there. So really powerful astrology for June 5th. You see this trench in a loss of 1 megaton nuke, December 5th, 1965. Somewhere in this zone, there is a 1 meg...
He lost a 1 megaton nuke there. Oh, that would be crazy if like a earthquake happened and set it off, right?
A nuclear bomb that's just chilling, all right? And it's like ready to go. That's not one of these like partial, doesn't have the plutonium core. That's like ready to go. So let us see what an underwater nuclear blast looks like, okay? This is, and let's see what the size of this is. They may have the actual size of this bomb in the description. So the nuclear blast is calculated to be 9 kilotons of TNT. And I'm not sure how many megatons. 9 kilotons of TNT. So the one that rolled off is 1 megaton, okay? So that one's much bigger. But let's see what this small nuclear blast looks like off the coast. And this is at a depth of 150 meters, okay? So this is wild. Check this out. And, this massive explosion. Look at that. Shockwave gets a second wind right here. Look at that. That's a small bomb. And it's at a shallow depth. Keep that in mind. But that's a small nuclear bomb. And so how many of these things are actually underwater that we don't know about? Those are the 6 that we know about. How many are underwater that we don't know about? Their sizes, their stability, right? Like, is there a point where the seawater will corrode the electrons that will just trigger a detonation? Or will that stop it from detonating? We just don't know. We just know that we have enriched nuclear products now scattered across the oceans, which we've only mapped about 5%. And the majority of global volcanism happens in the oceans.
So we have, again, for example, we have like Hawaii, very active volcano, okay? We have, of course, volcanoes all around the globe. Some of them are more active than others. We watch them, we track them. But let's zoom out. You can actually set up the globe here so you don't even see land. Like the Pacific is so big that if you look at it from a certain angle, you barely see any land. It's a massive, 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 massive amount of the planet. And there's so much underwater volcanism that occurs across the globe that we have no knowledge of. Because a lot of volcanic activity you identify with.
All right, so we do have a lot of volcanic activity going on and earthquake activity that's going on. So let's look at another one on the pulse with Silky. She's been doing really good work lately. Great one to follow. And I've been following her work for a few weeks now. Now, if you look at Campi Flegreri, it's starting to get volcanic unrest escalating, road collapses, and on a main road between Campi Flegreri and Naples, and it's it's upwelling. So we had the Blatten disaster, where now there's different things. Now, when I look at this, I feel there's a little bit of volcanic activity that's like warming up the area and causing the glacier melt. So that's what I think. So the Earth is warming up from the volcanic activity, and that's what's causing these glaciers to melt in Switzerland and causing these disasters. So Campi Flegreri, new swarm, strange location, earthquakes in Naples, seismic swarm, dramatic development in Fuego, Guatemala. They had a lot of people die when Fuego erupted several years ago. And so there's a lot of fear that another 2018 type of pyroclastic event might happen and send that shock wave that basically roasted tons of people, just like it happened with Naples a long time ago, Pompeii. Landslide twice as large as Blatten could hit this other town. I think there's a very strong possibility that we're going to see more towns in Switzerland basically get hit, because I think this is a warming trend from not outside, but from inside the Earth. It's warming it up and it's causing unstable conditions for these glaciers. So Idaho, is this causing the big one coming up? Sleeping Giants is 3 days ago. Lots of Idaho from that Yellowstone, close to Yellowstone, super volcano, and of course Etna had a big blow. There's chance that it could get worse. We have water that's backing up behind the Blatten disaster, and that could cause a washout downstream and take out more villages. So Ring of Fire, 4 volcanoes erupting in the same area. And of course, volcano erupts near nuclear power plant, Sakurajima. So that's just in the last week. All of this has happened, guys. Just the last week. And we're not covering everything. So lots of, problems coming. And they're talking about hurricanes coming. They're already talking big hurricanes this year. I said there was going to be, I think there's going to be even bigger hurricanes than last year. Not as many, and not as many will hit as last year, but some of those weren't as big. I think a lot of us kept those hurricanes from getting bigger. I think they got something in store for us this year, but we'll see. Because as long as we have sand washing from the Sahara Desert, washing blowing across, the sand basically keeps the storms from forming. I think we would have already had a storm at this point if we didn't have the sand, and it wasn't conducive for the sand to come across from the Sahara. it was looking like it wasn't going to happen this year. But fortunately, we're getting sand from the Sahara, and it's caused the crystalline the sand knocks hell out of storms. Doesn't let it, the dryness of it and so forth doesn't let it form. So we're lucky right now in Florida, and we're lucky in the Atlantic, because I firmly believe if that hadn't happened, when I saw that they were saying it wasn't going to happen, I was like, oh hell no, it's going to happen. So we're getting the sand come across. I don't know how much longer. Prayer does work wonders on storms, as Travis says. That's absolute, guys. The power of prayer, remote influencing, so forth, is very, very effective. So I've been training people over the last more than a decade of using that remote influencing prayer, if you will. It's easier for a lot of people to say, well, I'm praying. Okay, good. Look at it like that. But you have power. And if you just randomly go, well, God, please take care of it. No. Your power, your thought energy, your emotional energy. And if you've done my courses, you know that basically I teach you how to use your spinal fluid, starting from the base of your spine and basically tensing all the way up your spine to your pineal gland. So you basically tense it all the way up, and you push it into your thought. You have your thought in your pineal gland, you push it out, and you imagine it happening the way you're envisioning it. So extremely effective. Do my courses, do my meditations, you'll get that. But if you can't afford it, everybody can do this. Just imagine all the way from your sphincter, right? Tightening there, and then just go right up your spine, just tighten it all the way up, and then send it out through your pineal gland, right? That simple. Now, normally during the course of a 12-hour period, that happens. So I learned that you can make it happen within a very short period of time. I've had effects. It used to take me, a few days to make things happen. And then it took me one time when I needed it to happen, it took me just a few hours to bring in weather, right? So you can do a lot of things with your thought consciousness, remote influencing. And that's one of the things that I'm still here to teach, right? Brought back by Archangel Michael. Because I was like, I could actually help humanity. It's a bummer that I'm dead. So he's like, oh, really? Look me in the eye. Let me send you some love, energy. Go back and teach this. I was like, okay, yes, sir. Yes, Archangel Michael. I don't even know. I was like, I didn't even know who that. What? Oh, an angel. I didn't even know it was Archangel Michael at the time. Then I did the research and had all kind of crazy stuff happen. So we all have that. We can call on the angelic realm. We can call in God energy and so forth. Connect with that God energy. Your pineal gland is your connection. It's your antenna, right? You send it out. You get information. So the information that's coming to me is like time to skedaddle from, not necessarily skedaddle, but move to another area where you're going to do new work, right? So that's basically what I'm doing. And when I get there, you know where I'm at, right? So I don't want to, and you'll know when I'm there. So, all right. So I don't want to give the bad guys any more information than I need to. All right. Because when I say it, they're going to try and impede that. All right. So let's look at the silver prices. The silver prices are moving up. It's the same thing that's happened in the past, where there was 100 to 1. It took 100 ounces. It was slightly more than 100 to 1. It's like 102 point something at the highest level, and that was here where you see that downdraft. Whenever that has happened in the past, the silver comes back and it super overperforms every time in history. So you guys know that I've been saying that silver is going to pump. I've been saying it for years. I know it gets very frustrating for you guys that are in the retail business, the retail side of it. So retail is us, the average person. So now what we're seeing is the big guys are getting involved in this, and that's really going to pump this thing because they are seeing something on the horizon that we don't know about yet, right? So when you see the banks are starting to take in silver, and you're also seeing in the Chinese market, we're already seeing $37 and more in the Chinese market. The Chinese market is really ramping this up. Now, why are the different reasons why they would do that? Because the military-industrial complex likes cheap silver because they put a lot of silver in missiles. I don't know, I think it's like 500 ounces in missiles or something crazy. And they shoot a lot of those missiles, right? Lots of them. Been shooting a lot of those missiles in Ukraine and Russia. And they use a lot of them in cars, and batteries, and aircraft, and rockets, and solar panels. So there's a huge industrial demand for silver for the last 4 years. There has not been enough silver to meet that demand. And the paper markets, which don't represent real silver, it's a manipulation. The big banks have been basically shorting the silver market to keep the price of silver down. Massive manipulation. So when it passed $35, which it did just recently, the banks are in big trouble. Big trouble. So be aware of that. So the banks are in big trouble right now because as this thing goes high, as silver goes higher, their short positions are going to get very pricey. They're going to lose a lot of money. And, you know, they're not, we already know they're not in a good position because they're not making as many loans. And there's credit card debt is the highest ever. We're the highest ever. And we're having people that can't make their mortgage payments now, losing their homes. We're seeing the price of homes go down. Same situation that we saw in 2008, 2009. Same situation. We're seeing people that are losing jobs on a massive scale. The last jobs report was a disaster, and they're not talking about it. So you're seeing big problems right now in the economy. It's like they're whistling past the graveyard right now. But this big downturn that happened when the stock market went down is basically we're going to see this thing pop as we're seeing it. So on Friday, I think the high was like 36. I think it went all the way to 36.50, 36.48.5. So right at 36.50. So every day, as you see, even though it was red here, so for several days after it popped, it actually popped higher. It tested that high, had a little bit of pullback there, and then boom. And the next day, boom. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on Monday. Are we going to see another new high and then a little bit of a pullback? Probably are. Probably see a little bit of a pullback because when you zero in on this Bollinger Band, so the Bollinger Bands are basically that red and that green. So this is the daily. We haven't seen the lower Bollinger Band rise up yet. We're seeing the 200-day start to pull up higher. The 100-day, the 50-day, the 12-day, all of them are turning higher. So that's a very good indication that silver is going to continue to go higher. Everything is pulling upwards. And you're going to probably see massive wealth creation for those of you that have invested in silver like we've been saying, Dr. Kirk Elliott and I, for the last 2 years to get into silver. So many of you back a couple of years ago when we jumped up and down, said you have to buy silver now at $17. So if you bought at $17, you're basically doubled your money at this point in your silver. And then if you dollar cost average all the way up, which is fine, I've been buying silver all the way at 33. It's going to hurt, but I'm probably still going to buy silver soon at probably next month at 36, 37. Hopefully it doesn't go much higher than 36. But if it does, it is what it is, and I'm going to buy more of it because this is going to triple from where it's at right now. Triple easily into next year. We'll probably see $50 in the next month or so, and that's supposedly the all-time high. That's not. When you look at inflation, we should be going to $150, which I believe we're going to hit and then beyond. And that'll probably happen next year. Keep buying it. That's right. Silver pump. Yeah, keep buying it. Buy as much as you can. If you have gold, turn your gold into silver. I'm not going to do that. Not at this point. I'm going to hold my gold. I have a gold, a little bit of a gold, but most everything is in silver. I have platinum as well, but I have a lot of silver because I know this puppy is going to go big. So if you look at the Bollinger Band, you see that every time that silver pops over that, it gets a little pullback. So here you saw silver pop above that Bollinger Band. It pulled back, and then I thought, okay, it's probably just going to go up a little bit and stay below that Bollinger Band. But it popped above it, and then it didn't go below it the next day. Usually the next day it's going to like really pull back. It's not pulling back. It's going higher. This is like crazy. Because if you look throughout, let's see, right here, you see how it just touched the Bollinger Band, and then it dumped. So we're not seeing that now. It touched the Bollinger Band, it dumped. Let's go back a little bit more. Touch the Bollinger Band, it dumped. The upper Bollinger Band, right? It really punctured that Bollinger Band, and then it pulled back, and then it touched it again, pulled back. So you see every time, especially here where it like really pumped it, you see a pretty good pullback. Now, look at this puncture of the Bollinger Band. It went above it, stayed above it, and then it just really crashed down, crashed. And that was back in December of last year. So you had a buying opportunity all the way down in below 30, but that didn't last long. As you see, it went all the way up to 35 right after that, after it pushed through the lower Bollinger, right? And the actual 25 and the 200-day. So it pushed through the 200-day, which is crazy to me. August of last year, we saw $26, and then it took off after it pulled back from 32. And you go all the way back into last year, and it was in the 20s, mid 20s, the lower 20s, and then it just took off, went all the way to 32. Right. So that's what we're going to see. We're going to see this. We're going to see that same situation because we had this massive pullback way below the 200-day, and that it's going to cause this thing to really rip higher. So normally we see about a 50 to 1. That's normal. In the 2008, 2009, we saw it go to 35 to 1. So if we saw 35 to 1, then we're going to see we're going to see $75. I don't think we're going to see that yet. I think in next year, I think gold might get a little pullback, and then we get that average to come closer to a normal. Or we may see silver may pull gold higher. It may start to follow it. So now we're going to start to see silver way outperform. Let's look at Market Watch and see what silver has done over the last. We'll look at silver and gold as far as like the how it's performing. Year to date, it's up 23%. That's better than S&P. 5 day, 8, 1 month, 10%. So 10% up 10%. It was up 10%, pulled back a little bit over the last 5 days. So next week, possible we'll see, another 10%. Who knows? It's going to get ridiculous now. So we'll see this continue. This percentage increase quite a bit. Now, if you look at gold, like you said, gold has been outperforming 26%, 44% over 1 year. So that's quite a difference from what we saw with silver. Silver's only 14, so we're going to see silver outperform. So you're looking at gold 44% over last year. You're going to see silver way outperform that 44%. It's always happened. If you look at silver right now, silver January is already 37, and silver February next year is 37.16. So these numbers are going to increase. These numbers will continue to increase. And that's my thoughts, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes going forward, but I think we're in basically a massive silver run. And let's look at the experts. Some of the experts that I follow are saying that the Shanghai is really exploding the premiums.
Are the level of deliveries that we're seeing on COMEX for sure. That's something that's very, very, very unusual, and it's not something that we would typically ever see. It's happening in a very, very, very substantial way, for sure. Everyone's been talking about gold, but ignoring the amount of silver that has been delivered, including the massive delivery here in May. So yeah, I think that the silver is one of these deals where you can see that the chess pieces are put on the board. And when we talk about a cup and handle formation, it mimics gold's cup and handle formation almost perfectly, with the exception of gold has broken through the base or the top of the cup and has gone up to the handle. And what we see with silver, it's right at the base, right at the tip of the cup, ready to break through. If it gets through 35, in essence, it's broken through to the handle part. And this is a long 14, 15, 16 year base building. That makes the move that much, potentially that much stronger. You can feel it. And the ability of the West to, silly as it may seem, suppress the price of silver nakedly, if that's a word, or the naked suppression, it is very dangerous right now when we see these deliveries and the amount of standing delivery requests, not just on COMEX, but we're seeing it the same way on the Shanghai Exchange. We're seeing it on the London Metals Exchange. When we see stuff come off Shanghai, it's that they're promoting and prompting their citizens through state-sponsored gold and silver acquisition programs to accumulate metal. In fact, just as a side note, we just saw that China has lifted quotas and increased them for the banks. The banks who are traditionally the ones importing the metal into the country, they've now increased those quotas. And
So you're seeing India and China buying silver hand over fist. Same thing is happening in Russia. So what are they up to? They're up to exposing United States banks, because it's a war. There's a war going on, if you guys hadn't noticed, right? There's a trade war. Of course, the United States has frozen Russia's assets all across the globe. They've used some of those assets to fund the Ukraine war. Russia, India, and China, the BRICS, are basically, hammering the U.S. dollar. And the way they do that, the central bank, is to start to, get the silver. Now, another country that's probably going to seize their silver accounts is Mexico. So Mexico has stopped shipping silver to us, and I think oil as well. But they I think will probably seize, because they're going very communist in Mexico. They're probably going to seize the silver reserves and industry and all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to get any silver from any of those countries anymore, and that's going to be great for the silver producers in Canada. And here, I don't know if Canada is stopping their silver shipments to the United States, or what's going on. Now, another way that you guys can, increase your wealth creation is through LifeWave. We're basically expanding LifeWave. We're having a compensation plan 2.0 that comes out next month. We're going from 3 ways of earning income to 9, and they're going to be substantial. So this is one of the greatest times to get into LifeWave. This is a little video on the X39, which is the powerhouse of LifeWave at this point.
You are a powerhouse of growth, of new experiences. You just don't know it yet. Let's change that, shall we? With innovation at our core, we've reimagined what's possible. Harnessing the body's natural energy flow with light. Backed by clinical research, X39 stimulates the skin with low levels of light to elevate a key peptide linked to renovating and rejuvenating the body. This life technology supports improved movement, recovery, and overall health and well-being. You are Generation Awesome, shifting paradigms and creating new ones. We always knew you had it in you. Now it's time to prove it to yourself. Your adventures are only beginning. Discover the power and simplicity of doing more with X39.
And I get chills and knowing that some of you guys are going to try this. And it's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So LifeWave, Jaco.com. You're going to see some amazing things coming in. We have a Astrology, basically, which has all the nutrients you need to make your LifeWave patches go to the next level. And we're having a water machine that comes out that will actually infuse you with light. The first light infusion water that's ever, no one has this. So the inventor, David Schmidt, is absolutely, amazing. Absolutely amazing man. I've met him, been to his laboratory. When I saw his innovative information, he created it first of all for the SEAL teams. And I was like, this guy, no one gets to the SEAL teams unless you're badass. So I got to meet this guy. So I got to meet this guy. I've done shows with him. I'll probably do another show with the Astrology when it comes out. And I've already done one with the water machine. You can look at my Discover LifeWave videos. You click on that link at LifeWave, and that'll take you into the videos that I've done with David Schmidt and that light infused water machine. You want to watch that. That's pretty amazing. So everybody's going to want it. It's a great time to be in LifeWave. Learn how the light can basically, do amazing things for you. And it has done amazing things for the people that use it, myself included. So other things that we're looking at is riots. Now, you guys know that I've been talking about the craziness that's going to happen in the U.S. cities. They're powder kegs, in my opinion. U.S. cities, Democrat cities, of course, and it could happen to every city, really, not just Democrat cities. So we have to be aware of that. But we're seeing U.S. police protesters clash in Los Angeles following ICE raids. So the Democrats don't want their illegal aliens to go away because this is part of how they are trying to turn our country into a communist dictatorship. So they need those people to vote for them, to keep them in office. They just use their numbers. The illegal voting that the Democrats have been doing for many years is starting to come to a halt. They know that. So they're going to get desperate and they're going to riot, just like we're seeing right now. So U.S. police protester clash in Los Angeles. It's earlier on Friday. United States Immigration Customs Enforcement agents took dozens of people into custody during raids across Los Angeles City. So many of us with the power to see into the future have seen Los Angeles being one of the cities that's going to be really bad. All right. So I've been saying for many years to get out of the big cities, especially the big blue cities. And if you're in a state that's blue, like California, and you're in a city that's blue, not good, right? Not good, especially LA, San Francisco, and so forth. So we're seeing these riots start, as you're seeing there. They're getting pretty out of hand. I don't know what it's going on right now. Riot police, anti-ICE protesters square off in Los Angeles after raid. So that was yesterday. I showed you that link from yesterday. This is more recent, within the last 4 or 5 hours. So says ICE agents targeted. So here it is, a little video that you see playing here. You have people that are out here with their country's flags, not U.S. flags. Right? You had ICE agents that called for help from the LA SWAT teams and police. Took them hours to show up. So it really got out of hand. As you see here, this is like a group. They should have a lot of these groups that went out and arrested some jerk off that was throwing bricks and so forth at them. So they rushed this guy and pushed everybody back. See this guy with a paintball gun. That you've ever been hit by a paintball gun, it's not fun. So they did, of course, pepper spray and so forth, and push people back. So it's going to get out of hand if it's not getting out of hand right now. So Bongino sends. He says the title says sends the troops to L.A. after ICE was assaulted, and I don't know if it's he's sending troops or if he's sending or they mean. I think what they mean is they're sending a lot of help. Maybe the FBI is going in there. Maybe the FBI SWAT teams or something. I don't know. So if they're not raiding Kash Patel, I guess they're going to they get pissed off about that. So they're going to send them all out to LA. So what the hell? The days of Antifa, communists, Black Lives Matter, and other radical leftists controlling the streets are over. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Yesterday in Los Angeles, radicals attacked ICE agents, and many offenders were radicals in the country illegally. As many predicted, Democrats, in part, wanted illegal aliens here to join their armies of leftists. The people here illegally, brazenly waved their country's flags because they are invaders. They also assaulted ICE agents. So anti-ICE and demonstration in Los Angeles, blocking roads, mass arrest, waving their country flag. All right, so anti-ICE protests in Los Angeles are attacking. Let's watch this video a little bit. Like, who the hell are they beating up there? They're fighting with each other or something. Maybe these are people that are saying, don't fight the ICE agents. Now, that's good. So the radical group behind the uprising against ICE in Los Angeles is called CHIRLA, Coalition for Humane and Immigrant Rights. No, they're not immigrants. They're illegal aliens. One of their 8, so they have no rights. One of their 8 board members is Argentine-born Professor Markevsky, Women's, Gender, and Sexual Studies, California State University, Los Angeles. So we have people from outside the country. They're organizing these. Deputy Director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, reveals that they are working to identify the radical, violent leftist protesters who assaulted ICE law enforcement in Los Angeles on Friday and vows to bring them to justice. Fight back with firecrackers. All right, that's smart. Right. So what does he say? The right to assemble and protest does not include a license to attack law enforcement officers or to impede and obstruct our lawful immigration operations. We are thoroughly reviewing the evidence from yesterday's incident in Los Angeles, and we are working with the U.S. Attorney's Office to ensure the perpetrators are brought to justice. So they're looking at the video, they're determining who was there, and they're tracking these people down, and they're cuffing them and taking them away. The days of chaos ruling the streets are over. It doesn't look like it. Either obey the law or go to jail. There is no third option. I think these are going to get way out of hand. We're going to have to call in the troops. FBI Director Dan Bongino announced his crackdown on left-wing rioters, insurrection against the laws and sovereignty of the United States. So, Stephen Miller is calling, declares an insurrection. So we're getting to that point where we're going to see military in the streets. So they're wording it already. Insurrection. Stephen Miller, insurrection against the laws and sovereignty of the United States. We're moving in that direction. ISIS not playing in LA. Do they need reinforcements? We're going to see that they do, I believe. Now, I said that what the riots that we saw in France were coming to the U.S. And now we're starting to see it. Now we're seeing it, right? In LA. I believe it will spread to other cities. We're seeing the opening salvo. So we'll see. So now we also have for your skin, and I use this on my skin quite a bit. We have Skin Wisdom. It's very smart. It's wisdom, right? So you can go to my michaelkjaco.com, roll over the shop. You see Skin Wisdom. Click on the Skin Wisdom. Protect, repair, and revive. Protect your skin, repair skin damage, instant relief. I've used it on. I've gotten cuts, and I've had sun damage and all kind of crazy stuff. It's very effective. It has Allen cone, self-bonding, water-soluble, vapor-permeable, silky fill, organic aloe, which mimics skin coating. Hyaluronic acid promotes healthier, more subtle skin, and allotonin reduces redness, swelling, itching. So it has no parabens, pegs, sulfates, soy, and phthalates. So when you go to buy it, now I've been buying it for over $100. So we have a very good discount right now, $70.99. It ships to you for free. It talks about eczema. So this has been, they can make these claims because it has been treated, has been recognized as treating eczema, radiation, dermatitis. One of the most common side effects of radiotherapy for cancer. If you know someone dealing with this condition, Skin Wisdom can bring significant relief, and it has been shown to do that. Sun damage, you can put it on before you go out in the sun. It's almost like a not completely, but it can give you some protection. And if you do get sunburn, it can help you. It's a rash, great for diaper rash. Rashes caused by infection, heat, allergens, immune system disorders, medications, etc. A lot of people have used this. Scar reduction, and so forth. So cruelty-free, dermatologist tested, vegan-friendly, clinically tested. Great stuff. So highly recommend it. You can find it, like I said, in Michael K. Jaco. You go to the shop, roll over the shop, and hit Skin Wisdom and get some of that puppy. It's good for you. All right? Skin Wisdom. Just spray it on. It'll make you younger. All right? It'll make your skin younger. All right? So we'll probably have some shows and talk about that a little bit more in the future. It's some great stuff. I love using it. Now, other things we're looking at right now is Alexandria or Ocasio-Cortez comes out in favor of human trafficking. Now, I've said this for years, that her district, from the border all the way to her district, is a human trafficking ring. From the border, Mexican border, and she's part of it. No question about it, right? That's why she gets elected. And that's why a lot of these Democrats get elected, guys, because they are cover. Now, they like people that don't have brains, like AOC, like Dead Biden, like you name it, Gavin Newsom, and Kamala Harris. I mean, these people don't have brains because the deep state likes that. They don't want them to think. They just want them to just play along. And if they're stupid, they just play along. Or if they're dead Biden, and you have an actor, he's just going to play along, right? He's going to act stupid and play along. So that's the way they love it. That's not happening in a lot of, not all of the Republicans have brains, right? But more Republicans, I guess, than Democrats. Democrats are completely, in my opinion, compromised. They all vote the same, so they're not here for America, guys. They're deep state controlled. So we're going to see, a lot of this stuff get exposed. A lot of these people get exposed. We're going to see judges, I believe, that have been taking money. That's going to get exposed. We're going to see some of these people, like probably AOC. Absolutely no question in my mind. She came in. She couldn't afford anything in D.C., and then somehow she started to afford stuff in D.C., and then she started wearing designer clothes. And now I think she's worth millions. She's getting paid off. There's no question about it. To allow the human trafficking to come into her area. All right, so many different things I think are coming. As far as like exposure, the big beautiful bill I think is a good bill, but it's kind of like that Build Back Better thing. That CIA and FBI and CDC and, NSA and all those 3-letter agencies, BBB. All right. So they're just kind of playing along with that. Whereas MAGA and Doge are, they're 4-letter words or acronyms. So something's up about that. Something's up. They're trying to push stuff in a different direction, I think, guys. Trying to break free from the 3 letters and go to the 4 letters. The 4 letters, you're going to see a better world with 4-letter, acronyms, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Something is afoot with that. I feel it. Have a good feeling about that. All right. Have a good feeling about that. Not a bad feeling. So I think we're in for some great things going forward. Collapsing of old systems. So if I look at, I like to go over and look at Drudge Report. Drudge Report, and it used to be a conservative news. Now it's no longer. It says Elon Musk scrubs Trump Epstein attacks from X as Trump threatens payback. So again, you look at that and you're like, well, is Elon caving to pressure? Or was Elon just trying to stir stuff up? Because look who sided with Elon. And look who went against Trump. Yeah, maybe that's what it was about. So yeah. Musk scrubs Epstein, Trump Epstein attacks. So he's caving to pressure. A Thursday post, Musk shared that called for Trump's impeachment on Thursday. Also no longer appears on the Tesla CEO's timeline. The one that Trump tariffs will cause a recession in the second half of this year. Musk scrubbing, all that stuff, scrubbing. So, and Thursday, I think it was Tesla was down like 14%, and then it got a pop on Friday. Got not a pop, but it went up a little bit. Somebody buying a dip there. Yeah. So was somebody making a sell off so we could get in? Somebody could get in cheaper. You have to look at that because there's a lot of manipulation going on out there, guys, in that stock market. It is out of control manipulation. I am not in the stock market at all. I am just like hanging on silver. I'm not in crypto. Crypto's back and forth, up and down, sideways, down, up, cross, a little bit up with Bitcoin, but everything else is not going up to all-time highs. Only Bitcoin went to all-time highs recently, right? Everything else is like well below all-time highs. So you have to be very careful out there. Now, will it jump? I don't know. It could take off, but we're going to have to be very careful with how we invest. You don't have to be careful with silver, though. Go ahead and do it. Pull that trigger. I think you're going to be good. All right. That's all I got for now, guys. Sorry about the little glitch. We had 2 shows today instead of one big one with 2 nice ones. All right. So it worked out pretty good. We talked about different things. All right. Lots of love to you guys, and I will see you guys next time.